My name is Daniel Harper. I am 35 years old and work as an investigative journalist. This job takes me to various places, uncovering untold stories and delving into hidden mysteries. However, my journey to a vanished village deep in the forest became the most terrifying experience of my life. It all began when I received a letter from an old woman named Mrs. Lawson. The letter told the story of a village called Elder Grove that had mysteriously disappeared without a trace decades ago. The village was once known as a beautiful and peaceful place, but one day, all its inhabitants vanished mysteriously. No one knew what really happened, and no clues were left behind. Curiosity led me to the dense forest on the outskirts of town, where Mrs. Lawson said the village once stood. After conducting research and gathering some clues, I decided to go to the suspected site of the former village of Elder Grove alone. I arrived at the edge of the forest in the late afternoon, with the sky turning cloudy and the wind blowing fiercely. Armed with an old map and a compass, I began following a rarely trodden path. The forest was thick and dark, with tall trees that seemed to block out the sunlight. The atmosphere became more eerie when I realized that there were no sounds of animals or birds typically heard in a forest. After hours of walking, I reached an open area overgrown with wild grass and shrubs. In the middle of the area, I saw the remnants of building foundations and scattered ruins. There was no doubt this was the site of the former village of Elder Grove. I began taking photos and noting every detail I found. However, as I examined one of the ruins, I heard a soft whisper. The sound resembled people whispering, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. I tried to ignore it and continued my work. Night began to fall, and I decided to camp near the ruins. I lit a small campfire and sat down to enjoy my dinner. But the calm didn't last long. Suddenly, my campfire extinguished, and I felt a bone-chilling cold. The whispers returned, this time clearer and more terrifying. I turned on my flashlight and began to scan the surrounding area, hoping to find the source of the sound. However, all I saw were dark shadows moving among the trees. My heart pounded, and I felt as if something was watching me from the darkness. I returned to my campsite and tried to stay calm. But as the night wore on, strange sounds became more frequent. I heard footsteps around the camp, breaking branches, and sounds that resembled painful groans. I couldn't sleep at all that night. When dawn finally broke, I quickly packed up and prepared to leave. However, before I left, I found something shocking. On the ground near the ruins, I saw numerous footprints, as if many people had walked aimlessly. Curiosity and fear mixed together. I decided to follow the footprints, which led me deeper into the forest. After a while, I reached a small hill. At the top of the hill, I found a large stone with strange carvings that seemed to be hundreds of years old. As I approached the stone, the whispers returned, this time very clear. "Leave. This is not your place." The voice made my hair stand on end. I felt extremely scared, but also curious about what really happened in this village. Carefully, I touched the stone. Suddenly, I felt as if I was pulled by an unseen force. I saw flashes of past images, where the villagers of Elder Grove appeared to be performing a strange ritual around the stone. Their faces were full of fear and despair. The visions ended quickly, and I awoke, gasping for breath. I realized that Elder Grove vanished because something terrible happened to its inhabitants. They were trapped in another dimension, haunted by a dark force that couldn't be explained. I immediately left the forest, bringing with me evidence and the horrifying story of the vanished village. This experience taught me a valuable lesson that some mysteries are better left undiscovered. Even so, as a journalist, I felt compelled to share this story so the world would know about the mystery of the vanished village of Elder Grove.